Are you guys serious? Are you serious? Can we, are you serious, actually? Great to see everybody. Sorry that I'm a little late here. And of course, I've been on the road. I'm in Virginia right now. And so yesterday we had to drive from Hyman, Pennsylvania. Actually, I drove all the way through Maryland and then through Washington, D.C., and I'm here in Virginia visiting my family. But at the same time, I'm here, okay, with you. So let me put a quick shout out. And of course, because this is an incredible situation that's developing, PastorPaulGold.com. Guys, are you worried about the future of the U.S. economy? With so many uncertainties in the air, it's natural to fret about the security of your retirement. But there's one asset that stands the test of time, and that's gold. Okay, gold's a biblical currency. For centuries, gold has been the hedge against market volatility and economic instability. And with a gold IRA from Noble Gold Investment, you can harness the power of precious metals to help protect your financial future. By rolling over your existing IRA or 401k into a self-directed gold IRA, you can enjoy the potential for long-term growth and stability. So diversify your portfolio with a tangible asset, gold, a biblical currency. And setting up a gold IRA is pretty easy. Noble Gold will use the expert guidance to help you do it. Matter of fact, you can call them at 877-646-5347. That's 877-646-5347. And tell them that Pastor Paul Begley sent you there. All right. Guys, I'm going to be in Birmingham, Alabama this coming Sunday. Actually, I'm going to be there Thursday night and Friday night for the Elevate conference, which is going to be absolutely amazing. No doubt about that. Incredible. At Solid Rock Church, Birmingham, Alabama. My good buddy, Bishop Larry Ragland. Now, Thursday night, I will be there, and Bishop Clint Brown will be preaching. That will be amazing. It's always amazing. This guy's incredible. I mean, seriously, an amazing singer and songwriter, but maybe even a better preacher. I mean, seriously, it's off the charts. It's not right somebody can be that talented and be that anointed, but he is. And then Friday night, there's nobody better than the pastor of Solid Rock Church, Bishop Larry Ragland, him and his wife, Sandy Ragland, their entire congregation, great people. We can't wait to be with him. He's a great preacher. It's going to be awesome Friday night. And then on Sunday morning, October 13th, I'll be preaching. And I'll also have my books with me, Revelation 9:11. If you want to get a copy, signed copy, I'll do that on Sunday after church. So you can, I'd love to hope to see you there. All right, guys, this is a big time monster. And it really is. It's a monster. Oh, someone asked me, can I send my offering in for the Day of Atonement, even though the Day of Atonement is October 12th? The answer is yes. You can start sending in your Day of Atonement offerings with your prayer request. Just go to my website at paulbegleyprophecy.com, or you can pick up the phone and call at 877. Call 765-414-2230. Okay. That's 765-414-2230. All right. Now, guys, first of all, this hurricane is a monster. It's an absolute monster. And it was the fourth largest hurricane in the history of the world. I mean, the history of the Atlantic Ocean that we've been keeping track. But now it might be number one. It depends on the size and scope of it. It is a Cat 4. Now, we've had Cat 5s, but this thing is so powerful that we've never seen anything like this. It is Hurricane Milton. Hurricane Milton is a Category 4 and getting bigger. He's going to be a Cat 5 anytime now, any minute. He'll probably become a Cat 5. He's coming toward Tampa Bay. I've never seen anything like it. I in one way I'm glad I'm not in Florida to face this thing, but on the other hand, I wish I was, because I feel, devastated. First of all, my sister lives in Fort Myers. She's an ER. She's the director of an emergency room of a major hospital there, and she has already went to the hospital, and she's not leaving till the hurricane is over. This is the third time she's had to do this, where she'll be there 5-6 days as people will be coming in. It is a very, very, and pray for her, pray for everyone in that area, and pray for her home as well. It has survived the last two big ones, but she's concerned about this one. I, of course, live in the Villages. Pray for our church, Freedom Fellowship. I'm praying for all of our online members, because we have a lot of them. Florida is our number 3 state of online members, okay? And we've got thousands of them there, and they're going to face the storm. Many of them are right in the path of it. And so we really need to pray for Tampa Bay, Fort Myers, Tampa Bay, Sarasota, Clearwater, and other communities all up and down that area where this storm is headed. But not just along the coast, because they're going to face a storm surge of biblical proportion. This hurricane will break the record for storm surges ever to smash into that part of the country in Tampa. They've never seen anything higher than this. Milton is going to bring storm surge of about 15 feet when it makes landfall into Tampa Bay. People are evacuating. This is the largest evacuation in Florida history. You got to go, guys. You just got to leave, okay? If you're there, it's catastrophic. It's unsurvivable if you stay on that coast in Tampa Bay. It will be unsurvivable. Matter of fact, I have another update on it. And by the way, there's rockets going off and there's drones going off right now in the Holy Land. That is just nonstop now. Iraq is sending in those, so I'll bring up more about that situation here in a little bit. But let me just tell you about this Hurricane Milton. Hurricane Milton has weakened slightly as it gets closer to land. It will weaken a little bit. It will remain, though, extremely powerful storm. It could double in size before slamming into west central Florida tomorrow. Milton has the potential to become one of the most destructive hurricanes on record for west central Florida. And some of the meteorologists there at the National Hurricane Center have warned in an update today that damaging winds, life-threatening storm surge, and heavy rainfall will extend well outside the forecast cone. Milton has undergone stunning rapid intensification. Yesterday, it sustained winds reaching 180. This is right, 180 miles an hour. I mean, whoever heard of such a thing? We've seen storms bigger, but not. Maybe we have. This thing is massive. It's a monster. It's closing in. It's bringing a storm surge of biblical proportion, and Ron DeSantis is going to do everything he can to try to slow this thing down. The hurricane warning maps in Florida have blanketed the entire state in red and orange alerts, including the Villages. The Villages are going to experience tropical storm winds or Category 1 hurricane winds. And that's the Villages, which is about 100 miles north of Tampa. Orlando is going to face a Category 2 hurricane winds as this hurricane comes across the state from Tampa straight toward Orlando. The rain that this thing is going to leave will be as much as 20 inches of rain, which is just unheard of. I mean, unheard of. And so this will create life-threatening flooding and possible situations throughout the state of Florida. We just, at Sarasota, you can expect 15 feet of a storm surge. Tampa, expect 20 feet storm surge. Clearwater, expect 12 feet storm surge. And this is just unbelievable. Now, 8,000 National Guard members have already been activated in Florida by Governor Ron DeSantis. Fuel will be sent to gas stations around the clock, he's adding, although many gas stations now have run out of gas. People needing to fill up with gas and to leave, and now the gas stations have been running out. The Shell stations, the Walmart stations, some of the other stations have also run out of gasoline. All the shelters in all 67 Florida counties are open. Residents being urged to go to those. Many are getting Interstate 75 right now going north is a gridlock with people trying to get out of the state of Florida. And this is just unbelievable what's taking place right now in Florida as this storm comes ashore. It's paradise lost. And let me just say something about this, because paradise will be lost in portions of Florida. And what I mean by that is, first of all, the name is Milton. Milton, Hurricane Milton. It's so ironic, but a man by the name of John Milton wrote in 1666. That's right. In 1666, John Milton wrote a poem that is 10 books. This poem is so long, it's 10 books, called Paradise Lost. It was published in 1667. He wrote it in 1666. Paradise Lost is an epic poem in blank verse written in 1666, first edition, published in 1667. It consists of 10 books with over 10,000 lines per verse. A second edition followed in 1674, arranged into 12 books, and there's been other minor revisions throughout time. But who was John Milton, and what did he mean by Paradise Lost? Milton. The poem is concerned that a biblical story, it's of the fall of man, that the temptation of Adam and Eve by an angel called Satan or Lucifer, and their expulsion from the Garden of Eden. The poem's synopsis is this. Milton's story has two narratives, arcs. One's about Satan or Lucifer. The other's about Adam and Eve. It begins after Satan and the other fallen angels have been defeated and banished to hell, or as it is also called in the poem, Tartarus. In a pandemonium, which is the capital city of hell, pandemonium, the capital of hell, Satan employs his rhetorical skill to organize his followers, which are Mammon, Beelzebub, Belial or Baal, Chemosh, and Moloch. These were the demons that he organized. At the end of the debate, Satan volunteers to corrupt the newly created earth and God's new and most favored creation, mankind. He braves the dangers of the abyss alone, in a manner reminiscent of Odysseus or Arenas. And after he travels through the chaos outside of hell, he enters God's new material world and later the Garden of Eden. At several points in the poem, there's an angelic war over heaven is recounted from different perspectives. Satan's rebellion follows the epic convention of a large-scale warfare. The battles between the faithful angels and Satan's forces take place over 3 days. 3 days is how long Christ was in the belly of the earth, or in the heart of the earth, or in hell itself, remember, in the Bible. This battle takes place for 3 days. At the final battle, the Son of God, Jesus of Nazareth, Yeshua, single-handedly defeats the entire legions of angelic rebels and banishes them from heaven itself. Following this purge, God creates the world, culminating in his creation of Adam and Eve. And while God gave Adam and Eve total freedom and power to rule over all creation, he gave them one explicit command: don't eat from the tree of knowledge and good and evil, on a penalty of death. Adam and Eve are presented as having a romantic relationship while still being without sin. They have passions and distinct personalities, but Satan, disguised in the form of a serpent, successfully tempts Eve to eat from the tree of knowledge and good and evil. By preying on her vanity and tricking her with rhetoric, Adam, learning that Eve has sinned, knowingly commits the same sin. He declares to Eve that since she was made from his flesh, they are bound to one another. If she dies, he must die also. And in this manner, John Milton portrays Adam as a heroic figure, but also as the greater sinner than Eve, and as he's aware that what he is doing is wrong. And so at the end of the day, this poem, and I can read on and on, it's very similar to the biblical story. And even this takes place. Meanwhile, Satan returns triumphantly to hell after he is thrown, after he has caused Adam and Eve to lose paradise. And of course, he goes to hell and he parades around as if he is the victor. He finishes his speech to his fallen dominion, and then he becomes hideous. He surrounds them with hideous snakes, and Satan even turns himself into a snake, depriving of his limbs and unable to talk, but he still continues to plague mankind. Paradise Lost. That's just a synopsis, but it's in a very detailed poem written by Milton, John Milton. This hurricane is called Milton, and it's headed to Paradise, Florida. Florida certainly is a beautiful state and is a paradise for millions of people who have made the journey there, who live all the way up and down both the coast along the Gulf of Mexico to the folks who live along the southern portion of Key West, the Florida Keys, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood, Florida, on up the west coast of Florida, all the way up and then even inside Florida, there's many beautiful lakes and locations. It has truly been a glorious, beautiful place, no doubt about it. And I truly enjoy living there. I have guilt feelings right now that I'm not there as this storm is coming. I just do. But I think God purposely set it up that I would be preaching a revival in Hyman, Pennsylvania last weekend, and that I'm preaching this coming weekend in Birmingham, Alabama. And so I'm spending a couple of days here in Virginia with my son, Paul Jr., and his wife, Sarah, and my two little granddaughters, my two youngest granddaughters. So number 6 and number 7 of grandchildren. So that's why God sent me on this. It has to be. Meanwhile, I'm praying that everyone is protected, that lives are not lost, and that there's hope for the people. The tent has already been taken down, if you want to know, at Freedom Fellowship. As soon as the service ended Sunday, they took the tent down Sunday afternoon. Everything is stored and put away and protected. And once the storm passes, then the tent will be reconstructed, everything put back in again, and ready to go by this coming Sunday at Freedom Fellowship. Okay, so again, through two hurricanes, Freedom Fellowship will have taken down the tent and reconstructed it twice without losing a Sunday service, which is quite remarkable. So that's what's happening there. God is good, folks. So pray, please. And also, we're praying for America. We're still in the 40-day fasting and prayer And we've been praying for this nation. We're in this 40-day period now that's leading us to the most important political moment in this nation's history. The chaos, the evil that's lurking in the air right now, if anything, might be partly what's stirring up these incredible storms. Pray for the people of North Carolina, the Asheville area, but really that whole area, including parts of South Carolina, parts of Georgia, parts of Eastern Tennessee, part of Kentucky, West Virginia, damage that was also in southern Indiana and even in Ohio. I mean, guys, this was incredible. And of course, Florida, where it landed and did a lot of destruction up there in the Big Bend area. So this has been a massive undertaking. Now, the storm that's even bigger and worse than that one is headed straight for Tampa Bay and Sarasota and Clearwater and Fort Myer. And there's millions of people that live in that area, and that's some of the most beautiful locations in the state and actually in the country. So this is a major concern. We're having two of these monsters at the same time, and FEMA announced that they're broke. And I just read an article. FEMA has just announced they don't have enough money, they said, to even take care of the North Carolina people. They have nothing for the Florida disasters about to happen. They said Congress will have to go and pass a large bill and produce a whole lot more money for FEMA to operate. But here's the problem we got. Our nation sent billions. I mean, somewhere around $250 billion to the war efforts in Ukraine. And we've spent billions, upward of 60 some billion dollars on the 10 million illegal immigrants that have crossed the southern border into America. We know 15,000 of them were involved in sexual assaults, and over 13,000 of them were known convicted murderers that we had caught but released. This is ones we caught and released. This isn't the ones that got in that we didn't know about. We're talking, guys, about 10 to 11 million people illegally that is now being funded with housing, medical care, and food, and in some cases even education for tons of $60 billion. And there's nowhere in those two areas does the government say they don't have enough money for all the immigrants or not enough money for Ukraine. The only area they're saying they don't have enough money is for the American citizens, the people of this nation, whose houses got washed away, whose bodies are still stuck in the mud, buried in the mud and the sand, and wrapped in the trees after the rushing floodwaters. And this second storm coming, and it's inexcusable. I mean, you can't tell me that. You telling me that we didn't prepare for the storms, but we prepared, but we have put aside all this money for the other issues? I'm not sure I even buy even the story. I think it's an excuse. I think it's a political excuse to try to get the Congress to have to fork out more money, that they don't want to admit that they used the money that should have been used for the people, for the American citizens, the tax-paying citizens of the United States. I think that when we say paradise lost, maybe we're not talking about Tampa Bay or the beautiful beaches of Clearwater, which the sands are so white at Clearwater beaches, and that are just, it's unbelievable. Or the beautiful, beautiful areas of Fort Myers or Sarasota or all across Florida. We're not talking about, when we say paradise lost, we're talking about a whole big, broader subject. We're talking about the greatest nation on earth, the United States of America. When we say paradise lost, I'm saying is America lost? This is why we're in the 40 days of fasting and prayer. We started 40 days before the election night, and we'll continue to pray right up through the November 5th. I'll be doing a live broadcast on election night. We're going to be doing our own election night coverage at my website exclusively at paulbegleyprophecy.com. Exclusively. It won't be on YouTube. It won't be on Rumble. It won't be on Twitter. No, I want to talk as freely and honest and open and give you up to the minute reporting. I'm going to be using different individuals from across the nation. I'm going to bring on that are going to help tell us what's going on in their areas from different states across America. My son, Paul Jr., will be co-hosting this event with me, and we're going to have our own special map being prepared for us to change them from red to blue, to keep track up to the minute every time the polls close everywhere, up to the minute what the results are, so that you can get the dialogue and the conversation instead of having to listen to CNN or MSNBC or somebody. We want to give you our coverage from a Christian and biblical perspective. So election night, plan on that. We'll be going live at 6:00 p.m. Eastern, and we'll stay on the air probably to midnight, if not later. And even if the election's not over at that point, we're going to go at least 6 to 8 hours, so you don't want to miss it. It's going to be exclusively at paulbegleyprophecy.com. That's election night. But till then, if my people that are called by my name would humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from our wicked ways, God said he would hear from heaven, he would forgive our sin, and he would heal the land. And God knows we do not want paradise lost. Are you saved? Give your life to Jesus Christ. We're running out of time. I'll be back with more current world events and how they relate to biblical prophecy on the road from Virginia.